Hey everyone, these are 4 reverb tricks that actually enhance vocals. You can pull these tricks off in any genre across the board, and you can use any reverb plugin of your choice to make any of these tricks happen. Let's jump into it. If you would like to follow along with some of the tricks that I'll be doing in this video, you can grab this song building kit in the description below this video for free. This kit is in the form of drag and drop wave files, so they work in any DAW, and they come with the vocals as well. Let's get into this trick. This first trick is a reverb automation trick, and it's so much fun to use on transitions of your song because it enhances the transition. So let's listen to this piece of music. The transition happens here. I want you to pay attention to that transition.
You say you need to contemplate if you still feel the same as I just called them.
So right here is the transition, and if you notice, there's a big gap in the vocal here. And big gaps in the vocals are great places for you as a producer to have fun and experiment with some really cool stuff. So I'm going to grab a reverb plugin. Doesn't have to be a fancy reverb plugin by any means. I'm going to use Verb, which is the stock reverb plugin built into Logic Pro X. And to get the best effect, I'm going to put the decay up pretty high to around 10 or 11 seconds. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click open the automation up here, and we're going to automate this slider here, which is the amount of reverb that we hear. So it's like the volume of the reverb. So I'm going to set it to 0, close Chroma Reverb. I'm going to take this last word before the transition happens, and we're going to enhance that with reverb. So we're going to make it happen in this gap, and then we're going to shut it back down when we get to the next phrase. And now we'll get this sound.
If you still feel the same as I.
That is so electric. Now let's hear it in our song.
You say you need to contemplate if you still feel the same as I just called to make amends.
It's so cool because the reverb just flies into the next phrase so lushfully. This next trick goes hand in hand with the trick that we just learned, and it's the reversed reverb trick. Watch this. This is another one of those tricks that's great for transitions or simply just keeping your vocal interesting and fun to listen to. So if you notice, our vocal has a phrase and then an empty space and then a phrase, then an empty space and a phrase and an empty space. And reversed reverb swells are great at keeping these spaces exciting. Let's go ahead and make some reverse reverb swells. When I'm making a reverse reverb swell, I like to take the first word of the incoming phrase. There's an incoming phrase here, and I'm just going to grab this word and duplicate it here. So we're just going to mute that so we can focus on this first word and the sound design. So there's 2 ways we could do this. We could take the first word, or the first and the second word, because there's more tone in this word, so maybe that'll help us out more. I'm going to grab a reverb plugin, and again, doesn't have to be a fancy one. And I'm just going to add some bit of decay and put the wet all the way up. I'm going to right click and then bounce in place. You guys can do this easily in Ableton. So once I bounce out the sound, I get this nice tail here. I'm just going to get rid of the initial sample on the front end of that tail. And then I'm going to come up here and click reverse. Now we'll get a nice reverse reverb swell. I don't like them to be too long, so I'm just going to trim it down and refade it. And then we'll get this sound. And I'm going to add reverb to it, so it's a little bit looser of a sound. I went ahead and made a reverse reverb for this phrase here, and then a reverse reverb for the first phrase. Listen to how cool this sounds.
Is there more that I can say before we hang up for the night?
That's just the most electrifying sound I've ever heard. And I started doing it so late in my career, so don't be like me! This next trick is creating vocal atmospheres using simple ad-libs. This reverb trick is one of my favorite things to do on the hook of the song or the chorus. Here's the chorus of this piece.
Oh, you know, can't fight it, can't hide it, even though it's one-sided.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to take an ad-lib and we're going to create a vocal atmosphere with it. This is so cool. So this vocal is Vocal Kit 3 in the Eternal Vocals pack, and it didn't come with any ad-libs, but don't worry, I'm always thinking. So I added a folder in Eternal Vocals called Vocal Riffs and Runs, and some of these riffs are in the same key as Vocal Kit 3. So I'm going to open this folder down here, take riff 17, and if you're recording vocals, by the way, you could totally do this easily. We can grab riff 17, I'm going to stretch it out a bit, just so it's in the same BPM as our project, and if we play it, it sounds like this. But watch what happens when we grab a reverb plugin and we crank the mix or the wet knob to 100% with a really long decay. That is just mystic. Now I'm going to play this back with just a couple of simple chord patterns so we can really hear the effect. Listen to how cool this is.
Oh, you know, you know, you know, can't fight it, can't hide it, even though it's one-sided. Oh.
Like, if you're not doing that in your music, what are you doing? I need to listen to it again.
Oh, you know, you know, you know, can't fight it, can't hide it, even though it's one-sided. Oh.
God, that is the most gorgeous thing I ever heard. It's just the most gorgeous thing I've ever heard. This next reverb trick is one of those popular reverb tricks to do with vocals, and it's when you make the reverb pump or duck in between vocal phrases. This trick's very common in electronic music and electro pop, and I've heard it in other genres as well. So there's two ways to do it: the confusing way, where you use a compressor, or we're just going to use a reverb plugin and OTT to do it. It's way easier and it sounds way better. So here's the plugins that I have on this vocal, and what we're going to do is we're going to go after the reverb in the list of plugins. We're going to add OTT. Typically, I would add OTT before the reverb so I don't duck it. But if I'm trying to get that glue effect and that pumping effect that we're going for, I'm going to add OTT after the reverb here. And what that's going to do is it's going to enhance the reverb in these spaces here, and it's going to glue the reverb to the phrases. So I'm just going to take OTT. OTT is a free plugin, by the way, that everybody in the world should have. Go on Google and search OTT download. You can easily get it. I'm just going to pump this depth knob to about, let's try 30% first and see what kind of effect we get. So now if we listen to this vocal without OTT.
Is there more that I can say before we hang up for the night?
The reverb kind of just floats away. But if we turn OTT on,
is there more that I can say before we hang up for the night? Is there more that I can say before we hang up for the night? You say you need to contemplate.
And you could hear it just creates a natural ambience behind that vocal. Don't forget, guys, as part of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, for a very limited time only, we're giving away Main Stage Vocal Collection for free to anyone who picks up the Eternal Vocal Collection. That deal is in the description below, and it's ending very soon, so make sure you get on it. I'll see you guys in the next video.